同学们大家好，今天是我们雅思口语的第11个故事了。我们来去讲解一下呢 Describe a person who solved a problem in a smart way。 那我们之前实际上已经聊过了，我们的万能故事是 Gary B 这个题实际上直接可以去套你那个数学老师的故事，你就可以说上小学的时候数学特别难，你们都不愿意去听，然后 Gary B 呢用一种特别smart 的方式呢去 engage 你们就可以了。来去听一下我是怎么样去说的啊。 Speaking about a person who solved a problem in a smart way, the first person came into my mind is definitely my primary school math teacher, Gary B. The problem was actually that we couldn't focus on the class because math was very difficult and boring to us. We just didn't want to listen to him. And he was so young at that time. We just felt like we didn't want to listen to such a young teacher. But he solved this problem in a very smart way. He would bring a lot of stuff from home. For example, his son's Lego games, his wife's jewelry, and some furniture from home. And then he would use math knowledge to explain how those things were built. Wow, we had never been exposed to such a practical perspective of math. We found it so fascinating. And then we started to become so interested in listening to those math stories. And I think he definitely solved this problem in a very smart way, because unlike other teachers who would probably just give us some actual homework to do or maybe even give us some punishment, he used a different approach. He showed us how math can be applied in our real life examples so that we can feel that actually math is very useful. And also he used a very different way to engage us in the class so that he can really keep our attention. That's why I really like this teacher and why I think he solved this problem in a very smart way. 好，今天是我们雅思口语1到4月份预测题目 Part2 8分示范答案的第12个故事了。我们来去讲解一下 Describe a businessman you admire。 你们第一反应现在应该就是去 Describe Gary B 吧，你说他是一个 businessman。 那你在想，如果你怎么回答最后一个题呢？最后一个题是 Explain why you admire this person。如果是 Gary B 的话，你说你怎么说你崇拜他？你只能说他可能用一种比较独特的方式去讲数学，那他就是卖数学课的一个老师，这个也是可以的。我们看一下能不能把这个故事说的比较生动啊，我也不是特别确定，我们来去试一下啊。Speaking about a business person that I look up to, the first person came to my mind is definitely Gary B, who's a very famous math lecturer on Bilibili, which is Chinese YouTube. I got to know him about 2 years ago when I just started to study a very difficult subject at the university, which is math research. So the business he runs is selling math research related online courses as well as one-on-one coaching programs. The reason why I admire him a lot is that he has been putting out a lot of free content on Bilibili, and all of those content is very useful as well as entertaining. Unlike other math teachers who just talk about those very sophisticated math knowledge in a very boring way, he can always use very easy to understand language to explain those concepts. Another thing that I really admire him is that he can always show us how can we use math to explain a lot of things in our life. For example, he would use math to explain the traffic congestion problem, use math formula to predict how many COVID cases in different countries. You know, things are very related to our life. He even used math to predict the inflation going on around the world and stock markets. I had never been exposed to such very practical perspective of math before I got to know him. That is why I really look up to him. 好，我们今天这个故事是雅思口语1到4月份预测题目8分示范答案的第13个故事了。我们来去讲解一下 Describe a creative person whose work you admire。这肯定是 Gary B 吧？你比较admire Gary B 的那个课，主要就是因为他这个课特别第一个有用，第二个第一个是比较有用的，然后第二比较 entertaining， 他整个人也比较 humorous， 然后你就说它可以结合实际嘛，然后他人也比较 humorous， 就像那隔壁大叔一样，跟我们上次讲解那个故事是一模一样的吧。这个题我们就不带大家去套了，只是给大家简单去讲解一下。当你去说这个 creative person 的时候，你刚开始的时候可以这样说，你说 Speaking about a creative person, I don't want to talk about an artist. For me, creativity means that you can always think outside the box to figure out how to solve a problem in a unique way. That is why today I would like to talk about a math teacher. 这样就 OK 了。然后如果你们还没有去看过之前去描述 Gary B story 这个同学的话呢，你们可以去看一下我们万能故事的这个版本。所以这个题的话我们就不套了，因为跟之前的那些故事全部都是一样的。好，下面这个题目呢，我们来去讲解一下 Describe a famous athlete you know。好，这个题呢，可能看上去一听觉得套不了我们那些万能故事，也不能套 Gary B， 也不能套那个 Amy 的故事。很多同学都说这个题我是不是需要单去想一个故事？其实不是这样的。这个题最后一问说的是 Explain why she or he is famous， 也就是说为什么这个人会变得特别有名。那你这个时候你可不可以去想一想，有没有什么一些品质是和那个 Gary B 或者是和那个 Amy 相似的？那比如说我们说 Amy 吧 ，Amy 是放弃了她的大学，然后去当歌手了。你可不可以说有这么一个运动员，原本是念书的，放弃念书了，当运动员了？这个可以吧？然后我们再来看啊，如果你是套 Gary B 的这个故事的话，那我们可不可以说这个人呢，也像 Gary B 一样，也是在网上面去传视频了。这个视频呢，影响了很多人，然后启发了很多人 ，inspirational video 之类的。所以他成名的2个原因就是这个。好，你们下面看一下我是怎么样去示范这个题目的回答啊。Describe a famous athlete you know. Speaking about a famous athlete, the first person that popped into my mind is definitely Zihong, who's a very well-known Chinese woman basketball player. I got to know her about 3 years ago. I remember that I watched a documentary about her basketball career, how she quit her university, decided to pursue a basketball career at the age of 20. It was actually a very disadvantaged age for an athlete, and also her parents didn't agree with her, but she still decided to pursue her career and her passion about basketball. I found it very inspirational. Talking about her story now is still giving me goosebumps. And she hasn't actually achieved a lot of top awards in the world, but she's very famous in China, especially on the social media platform Bilibili, because she has been uploading a lot of basketball tutorials online, and she has got tens of thousands of followers there. I think perhaps millions of followers actually. The reason why she became famous, I think it mainly because of her inspirational stories. It actually inspired a lot of women in China to pursue what they are passionate about instead of following other people's opinions, especially their parents' opinions. Another reason is that, as I mentioned before, she has posted a lot of free content on Bilibili, and each one talks about how to play basketball in a very humorous and easy to follow way. 好，我们下面说这个故事是去描述一个外国人你听说过的，而且特别有意思的。重点的一个题目是要去描述一下呢 ，Explain why you think he or she is very interesting。是不可以直接聊 Gary B 啊，同学们 ？Gary B 又来了吧？你什么时候知道他？3年之前知道他，发现你那个数学研究课太难了。然后他是一个什么样的人？你就简单说他是一个特别 down to earth，like an uncle next door， 然后特别 humorous 这么一个人。然后你说为什么他 interesting？Unlike other teachers who just follow the textbooks， 他怎么样 combine the practice with the theory， 然后又怎么样又用他儿子 Lego game 去 explain 数学。然后你 never been exposed to such practical perspective of math, blah blah blah， 是不是一模一样？然后你再说 I really want to talk about him because it was his videos that inspired me to become so passionate about math。 这万能故事又来了吧？所以这个故事我们不讲了，因为跟我们以前讲的那个是一样的啊。没有看过之前那些视频的同学一定要去复习一下。想复习这个万能故事的同学的话，点击视频下面的链接就可以了。